Three, two, one, launch! Recently, I was testing out my air-powered rockets in preparation for an indoor session with the youth group. The rockets are constructed out of colored cardstock paper. I also tested out launching just a tube with no fins to demonstrate the lack of stability without the fins if not properly balanced. Now we're going to jump back several years ago when I first started experimenting with air-powered rockets after buying one at a hobby shop. I tried building one, and like everyone else, I used a 2-liter pop bottle, which always crushed. I just wasn't happy, so I tried other things. This plastic mailing bag just wasn't strong enough and blew out quickly. So then I tried to build my own chamber using foam, plastic, duct tape, cloth, and it still wasn't strong enough, and it started to leak after a time. Then I bought this bellows at the hardware store, but that just wouldn't give it enough pressure to get very high. I mentioned this to a science teacher friend, and he suggested a boat fender, and that was the ideal ticket. Here you see on one of my early launchers, you just drill through it with a hole saw, put in a fitting, connect some plastic pipe, and then connect it to the PVC pipe. I made the base out of some really cheap lumber. Next, I wanted to try to make some really cheap and easy rockets, so I settled on using cardstock paper. You roll it around a tube, and then you cut out some fins and then tape them on with clear tape. I have my lovely assistant try it out, and it worked pretty darn good. But then I did this with some younger kids, and they just really weren't heavy enough to get much altitude outside. So I worked with the water rockets that use water and air pressure, and the rockets go a lot higher, but you need a better launcher. But then I started thinking about, well, I could probably use this with this group that I do indoors inside a gym and make it a real quick activity. So I rolled the body tubes and cut out the fins, and then they just taped on the fins. So we discussed about the purpose of the fins for stability and about spacing at 120 degrees in a 360-degree circle, and the kids were really good about participating in the discussion. So then we went in the gym and launched the rockets, and they really enjoyed this. Some just kept doing it. They would hit the ceiling, but there's no damage with a paper rocket. So I felt really good about the activity that fit the group and the time available and the space we had to use. I feel like each time I do this, I get a little bit more experience in interacting with the young people, and it's really rewarding.